Hello, 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 and welcome to the Drag Race RHAPup here on RHAP. We know reality TV. I'm your host, Liana Boraas, and today we are talking about the finale of Drag Race Season 17. Feels like we were just starting the season. I know I say that every single week, but we have a winner. Again, spoilers, of course. Anya Nerve is our winner of Season 17, and we're going to talk about everything from this grand finale. First, let me welcome in a woman. You know her. It is Beth Dixon. Beth, how are you?
I'm doing really well. I am a little lower energy than usual, not because of the Drag Race finale, but because for those that don't know, one of my good friends who's also an RGP patron, Tyler Lyons, now Tyler Bowie Lyons, was married last night. And it was a lot of fun. But I had to make sure that I came home and watched Drag Race in the finale after the rehearsal dinner on Friday. So it's been a drag and wedding and gay filled weekend. And I am excited to be here to break down the RHAP, drag race side of things for my weekend.
Okay, perfect. And our little group would not be complete without Aman Adwin. Aman, how are you?
I'm great. Another one in the books. Very excited for our winner. It's been a fantastic season and an interesting finale that sparked a fairly predictable debate, I guess you can say. But I'm excited to talk about it nonetheless.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So we will go through everything. We had all of the queens come back. I don't have all the runway looks pulled up, but there are specific ones we want to talk about. Of course, we can pull those up. We get a RuPaul's performance. We get the, I guess, I don't know, maxi challenge where each of the queens performed their own song, which was at least the vocals were performed by them. I don't know how much of the writing or the staging or anything was up to them. But then our top two out of that will lip sync for the win. Jules versus Anya in the final two, lip syncing to Abracadabra. And we'll talk about all of that. But Aman, first I want to start with you. Just give me your whole thoughts on this season in general. Or no, I mean the finale in general. And the season, I guess, as well, if you want to throw that in there.
I'm very pleased about the return to original songs for the queens. They've been doing this as if they did it last season too, and I think obviously making them record their own vocals is also a lot of fun. I was a big fan of the Rusical this year, and a bit of it was because of the queens and their characterization of the roles that they got, which was colored by their own vocals, and so I was pleased to get to hear them again, even if some of them may have gotten a little taste of the tune, a little taste of the auto tune in there. That's fine. I don't give a damn. They all still sounded great. It was a lot of fun. The only thing again is that I'm sort of missing the Orpheum Theater, but it still felt like it was full of fans. It still felt like there was a lot of love and energy in that room. So I that part I wasn't missing too much, but I guess just the venue of that grand theater, just I do still miss that. But other than that, it was a great time, and I feel like all of the queens really had numbers that really encapsulated their journey on Drag Race, and pulled out the stops and kind of impressed me with a bit of this choreography. So I was like, I was very pleased to see it. It was interesting to see the makeup of the judging panel. Like Jamal Sims, I'm assuming he was there because he probably helped a lot of them put together their.
That's what I was going to say. As I sat there and I'm like, what? Where's Ross? Where's, T.S. Madison? Where's La Roche? Where are these people? I love Jamal Sims. He could be there too. Line that panel up. Let's go.
Yeah. So that part was a little strange to me, but other than that, this is a good time.
Yeah, I agree, Aman. I thought this, I really liked all four of the songs. I liked all four of the performances. I loved Anya's song itself. Like, I felt like it was like a Bruno Mars song. Like, that's what it felt like to me. Like, it had a very like Bruno Mars-esque vibe to it.
Yes, 100%. That was exactly. I was watching with a friend, and she said the exact same thing. She was like, "This did Bruno Mars right?"
That's what I'm sitting here being like, you know what? It's just like the song composition was so much better than the other song, like the sounds of the song, like the thing that the queens don't have, control over. But it was so funny because I felt like all four of them did something better than the other people did. Like, I felt like Jules came out and just like really was able to perform, like capture, like, this comedy kind of routine. And then you had Lexi, who was able to show off like how she is so unique and how she can use her body in a whole different way that we haven't been able to see her with lip syncing, with roller skating, and really showing off this talent of hers and just be blown away by it. Anya just coming out and performing the house down, and just like that song was so catchy. I was like, this is the only one I'm going to download. Like, okay guys, full tea. I don't download most of the songs from Drag Race. That's when I was like, I'm gonna listen to that one again because that was fun. I liked that. And Sam, I just love the way that she interacted with the audience, right? And I just a lot of fun, a lot of flash, and all of those reveals, and they were seamless. You didn't know that they were coming. Like, you can assume a reveal's coming, but she did not look like she had all those reveals underneath her outfit when she came out. That to me was such a big highlight for me. And if it were based on, the 4 songs itself only, I actually think I would have put Sam over Jules in the top. But that's just me. And a shocker, I'm sure, for our listeners at home.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm sorry. What? Beth prefers Star? What? Okay, so I think for me, this was really hampered by not being in theater. Like, I'm just gonna say it. I understand, Aman, that there was a lot of warmth and energy and love in that room, but it still just felt so different. Like, so different. And I just can't help but like, it doesn't really have that grand finale feeling, right? That it would if it were in any theater, really, like anywhere else, sort of, but the main stage. And it
get
also
a community theater vibe, guys. Come on,
even
if it was only 50 seats, like there was like fewer than 50 people in that audience. Come on,
in the black box.
Yeah. I think the other thing too is to have it just like, okay, when it's like the end of the school year and you get to like have class outside, it's just like something to bring a different vibe. Like, it doesn't have to be all that fancy. It doesn't have to be, like a crazy big theater, just something that would feel a little bit different. So for me, I really felt like that was a little bit of a dampener on the grand finale. But in terms of the actual content, I thought it was pretty fun. I thought that the individual songs always are a joy, although I do think that it could potentially introduce, especially what we talked about with Anya, like a little bit of bias towards like who gets a quote unquote like better song, because I think that there's some debate there potentially. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm Lexi's age, and so her whole thing about being old, I'm just like, oh my god, can we like not do this, please?
Yeah,
but overall it was fun. We had the Liza Minnelli tribute. The final lip sync was a bit lackluster in my opinion, but kind of to no surprise, Anya and her charisma just absolutely carry the show, and we get an Anya win. So, I was happy with that. I think I would have been happy really with even a Jules win at the end of the day, but Anya felt like the correct winner that we had predicted pretty much from episode like 2 or 3. So here we are.
I will say, I think Anya was somebody I knew would be in the finale, but I didn't think she was going to win until like maybe the last 5 episodes. I felt in the very beginning of the season, I felt like it was going to be Lexi. And then I felt like it was going to be Sam. And then I was like, nope, it's going to be Anya. But the entire time, I also thought Susie was going to be in the finale. So I do kind of want to give this season credit in the sense that I had a changing and evolving mind, even though I knew who the finalists were going to be for the most part. I thought that was a pretty great way to go into the finale. That said, I know we'll talk about it, but like, Anya won because Anya won the season, not because she won the lip sync.
Oh yeah,
which we will talk about. For sure.
Oh yeah, definitely. So were there any particular? So I do have actually the final 4 queens looks from their the runway, which all, by the way, they all look absolutely stunning. It's just so funny because I think if I saw Sam's in isolation, I would be like, oh my god, yeah, that's gorgeous. But then I see her next to everybody else, and I'm kind of like, is Sam's the most basic look out of this whole bunch?
I'm going back on my Sam hating bullshit here. Okay. That is not a finale look. I am so sorry. That is that is a runway where it's a country runway, or like cowboy hat runway or something like that. To me, I love what she's trying to do, but I just feel like when, like you're saying, like when you look at the others, I don't know. Like I just don't think this was as glamorous as I feel like she could be.
It looks a
Mhm.
little big on her. So I'm wondering if that, I mean, it
Mhm.
looks like it was made for her because of all of the stars.
Sure.
So I don't know if it was a bad tailoring job or if it was something that she borrowed and repurposed and it wasn't tailored correctly. But it does look a little large on her. I would
Mhm.
say her and sort of Lexi Love sort of have like the weakest out of the four, I would say. I think I prefer Jules is the best. It's
Oh yeah.
sort of giving. It's my coming out. It's my finale quinceañera type feel.
Mhm.
And I just love the opulence of it, the Disney princess vibe of it. I just think it's like her final evolution, very glamour. And Anya, so much dimension, asymmetry, just and especially because some of Anya's runways are a little crunchy. So
Mhm.
it's always nice to see her do a little bit of a glow up. So yeah, I definitely liked those two the best for sure.
I loved Lexi's though, and I think the reason why I liked it the most is that we're used to her showing body and color and that kind of thing, but this really normally she's going to have a fun wig of some sort, right? This
Mhm.
came out to me as almost a statement of like comfort in who she is as a woman and like coming out as almost like a Victoria's Secret runway model and having that hyper femininity like inspiration. To me, I just thought that this was beautifully executed and I love the way that it moved with her. I thought that this was really gorgeous and it was a great way to set herself apart from what she showed in the season while also staying true to what she was doing. But yeah, no, I think it was funny. I was really nervous to see what Anya was going to come out with. And I was not nervous to see what Sam was going to come up with. And then I was like really, really pleasantly surprised with Anya in a really beautiful way. I don't mean to say like I felt like she was busted all season or anything. She wasn't, but I definitely feel like, when we're talking about sewing and fashion, that was one of her weaker parts of, if not her weakest
Mhm.
part of her competition. And I felt like Sam, like, again, this is beautiful. I love the concept. I love everything about it. I just feel like it stunts her. The it's beautiful, but it's just I don't know. It's just not grand enough. I thought for something that she would do.
And again, I think standing next to Jules does her no favors
Yes.
because Jules is like the grandest of all the
Mhm.
looks, right? So I think that that doesn't help.
She
I
should have
love
switched with
Jules.
Lexi. If Lexi was
Mhm.
over on that side, I think that balances out. But I still think we'd be looking at Sam and going, "Well, I don't know. Anya's right there." You know what I mean? Like I just think that that's unfortunate for her in that sense. But
Mhm. The structure and the detailing on Anya's is just so pretty. You
so
can't
cool.
get over though the physical size of Lexi's and Jules's, so that obviously just immediately draws my eye. When I saw the picture of this picture of the four of them together, I was immediately drawn to Jules for obvious reasons, then Lexi,
Yeah,
then Anya, then Sam. Like that was kind of the order in which my eye was drawn. And
her
I think
dress
that
is saying, "Bitch, move."
I know. This is my space. This is like when COVID, we had to stand 6 feet apart from each other. This is the dress you wear to the grocery store to make
Yes,
sure people stay
that's
6
right.
feet apart. Yeah. That's what we're talking
That's
about.
you know what though? I do wonder if those final looks weighed into anything with the final judging as well, because I 1,000% was like, if this is based off of the looks in general, I definitely felt it like it should have been Anya and Jules only. Like if
Mhm.
it had nothing to do with the lip syncs. But if it were like, hey, the lip syncs and the runway, just like any other episode, then I can, absolutely say this definitely fueled Jules. Like that to me is one of the best finale dresses I've ever
Yeah.
seen in my life. Amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about each of their individual performances and we can see who we potentially would have put in the top 2. So Jules is first,
Mhm.
and they didn't have titles to their songs. Maybe those are published now. So I just wrote I put the ding in dot 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 is what I've decided the title of her song is.
Great.
And I think, and again, whether or not I have I have no information, and if either of you have more detail on this, of like how much control they had over the actual content of the song, because I feel like the producers set up Jules to do so well. They gave her a song that has amazing choreo that she can obviously handle. It's interesting, it's dynamic, there's a ton going on. The song both highlights, you know, the humor as well as like the badassery that she can bring to the stage. So for me, Aman, this just felt like this is, if you're gonna craft like the perfect finale number in a vat in a lab, like this is what you come up with.
Yeah, this just made me pissed all over again that she didn't win for the Rusical. And I understand that RuPaul loves Cher, and I understand that Sam did a good job at being a Cher, but like,
I feel you.
Ru, I need for you to move on. Okay, I need for you to move on. I need for you to let some of these old queens go. I don't mean that in a derogatory way, because we before. Oh my God!
So let's talk about the Liza part, right? So that was fun. I'm just kidding.
Put them out to pasture as a motto.
We love Diana. We love Cher. We love Liza. We love Barbara. We love all of them. Okay, a lot of them are the blueprint for all of the queens that we love today. So I would never disrespect them. But I am saying, when it comes to criteria and judging on Drag Race, I was about to say drugs. Oh my God, it is. You need to broaden your horizons a bit, Ru, because if you were not so blinded by the whole of it all, you would have seen that. I think that Jules really was one of the undercover comedy queens of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Like, her Glinda was so funny, and it wasn't just because of the titty popping out. It was just the characterization of it, the movement of it was just so great, and a lot of that is harkened back to in this performance. And a lot of them, and you know, Michelle even said as much. Like, I love that you did a goofy comedy number because it's unexpected and you're good at it. Yes, hello, like so.
Yep.
Some of us have known this. If you were paying attention.
Thanks, judges. Understood. No, I definitely agree. I love that, like you said, Liana, I love that we got some comedy. We got to see her dance, which she's clearly good at. We got to see her flirt and own the confidence and the talent that she has. And it really did feel like a victory lap for her. You know what I mean? Like she just literally was like, and this is what you get with me. Here we are. And I loved it. It was a lot of fun. It was a great way to kick it all off too. Cause like, I don't think I would expect for them to put a comedy one first, you know? And I think that they just went alphabetical by first name. But it still is just really funny to me. Like, I love that she gets to kick it off with a comedy number instead of someone coming out here and being like, fierce queen, give me the crown. And I'm also gonna go back to my hometown and tell them, fuck you, because I'm the best and I'm better than all the rest. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I loved that it came back and it was comedy of that. It was great.
I think my biggest critique is that her tights were like orange. It really bothered me.
I want you to know, Liana, the way I was watching this with my friend, Allison, who was spending the night, and she literally went, "What the fuck is up with her legs?" And I went, "Those are her." I said, "Those are her stockings." And she went, "Does she not know how to color match?"
Oh,
so that's somebody who doesn't watch Drag Race.
That's her natural skin tone.
Ooh, her legs are just orange. Okay.
Yeah, how dare you?
Yeah,
it stops at the waist.
Yeah, that was like the biggest thing that I was just like so distracted while I was watching. But other than that, I thought she did a great job. We also, you know, after the performance number, we get the queens have an opportunity to answer some questions from Ru and interact with Ru. So we got a call back to what's your 5-year plan? Joel says, I'm gonna be RuPaul. Okay, go for it. Good luck.
And I love that, actually, because I feel like in earlier seasons we saw a lot of that. You know, some of it was a little bit of flattery, some of it was, you know, people obviously wanting to follow in her footsteps. And I like that someone was just open about that, because the trajectory for a lot of winners this season, or a lot of, you know, popular queens, is, you know, going on tour or trying to break into music a little bit, or trying to land something on TV. And she's like, you know, I kind of just want to have my own drag empire. I want to do exactly what you were doing. I want to pave the way for other queens. And I liked hearing that from her.
I agree. I felt the same way. And I just wish that there was a little bit more to that answer for her, where she can say like what she wants to be with RuPaul, because RuPaul has also been like basically this mogul, right? And has done so many different kinds of things. And when you come out and say, I want to be RuPaul, I want to have this, I mean, that's great. But this is me as the job coach interviewer person being like, I wish you had just dug down a little deeper and were more specific. So I'm realizing now I'm just
No, that's fair.
That's what I do all week, is just tell my students they need to be more specific in interviews. But here we are.
No, it's so true. It's so true. It's so funny. As someone who just went through, was interviewing quite a bit, right, for different positions, I'm like, okay, give an example. Just an example. Just use the STAR method. What was the situation? What was the you know what I mean? I'm like, okay, come on, you can do this.
I live this every day.
But no, this was really sweet. I mean, we also get the follow up with if you were to give the advice to, the child version of you, what would you say? This one really got me. I started crying a little bit. I was just like, oh, this is so emotional. I always am such a sucker for that. That combined with the parents being there, or any, chosen family, and just for them to have their family there in general is just always so like, heartwarming.
I also felt like, we know that there's been loss and being sick and having really serious issues, and understanding that background and understanding that, as you would assume, that this has been incredibly tough for their little family of her parents and her. And, they talked about how this was something that her mother really enjoyed as well. But like, her father came for a reason, to do the makeover challenge. So to see both of them there, to see her mother just so proud and emotional, and you could see it on their faces that they were missing their other son. She was missing her brother, that they were so overjoyed that they've seen this evolution, and they're just like in awe because they've been a part of it with her. Just like Sam's mother. And it's just a really beautiful thing that we're obviously in a very tough time for the LGBTQIA plus community in America. And I think it's really powerful to show families who have now had the ability to grow up with Drag Race with their kids, have them go on Drag Race. And it's something like they watched Drag Race together, essentially, right? Kind of like Survivor, where we have a whole bunch of people who watch Survivor and that's why they want to go on the show. Well, we're getting that with Drag Race, and it was never like this in the beginning. We didn't have families that came together over Drag Race. We have that now. They have Drag Race as a tool to show their parents, this is what I want. This is what I do. I identify with this. This is great. This is fun. And bring their parents into the world. And it's very hopeful. And I thought that was just beautiful. I wept.
Yeah. Let's talk about Lexi Love next. So her song, which I did okay, so I believe Jules Sparkle's song is just called Ding.
I literally was like, you probably could just call it Ding.
Yeah. Lexi Love, Call Her a Classic. And when I first saw her rolling out, I don't know why my brain didn't even think like maybe she's gonna be on roller skates. Like I just like, oh, that's cool. They were standing on something as they roll her out.
I was like, oh, she's on a dolly. I thought the same exact thing.
And when she came out on roller skates, I was like, oh my God, I'm so stupid.
I also thought maybe she was shuffling her feet like this and just made it look like, I don't know.
But it was this like sort of Cleopatra inspired iconography, Aman. I liked, some of the lyrics are pretty cute and corny. Like, she's giving fantastic. How you gonna come for a classic? It's like, okay, that's cute. Little rhyming dictionary, but pretty cute.
Yeah, I'm really happy with her performance, and I thought it was such like a nice tail end, because she starts off with the talent show and roller skates, and then she ends with her final showcase in roller skates. I think it was just a nice bookend for her entire time on the show. And she didn't flop, not once. There was no falter, there was no stumble. Everything was everything was down to a T. The little spin that she does in the circle, like I would not be able to do that without getting dizzy. It's not gonna happen. But she made that shit work, and she didn't roll over any of the pit crew's fingers when going over them. Like everything,
Yes,
this was not an Anitra. Okay, everything happened the way that it should have.
Ooh, I mean, that's I would have first of all died on stage. That would have been my finale. When I did a death drop, I would have dropped dead, and it would have been iconic. But besides that, I agree. I think that she to me had the most flawless routine out of everybody. Like she was just so in it, and I felt like with the skating, the performance with other pit crew members, she just radiates joy. And so does Anya. Like I was just really struck, the two of them in particular. It's part of the reason why we love them so much. But there was just something that you can just tell when she gets to perform. It is like that is her safe space, is performing and giving that energy. It's when she feels herself the most, and having her on those skates again, like you said, Aman, was just a really great way for us to be reminded of just how incredible this journey has been for her. And we've all been rooting for her. And I feel like at the end of the competition, we've really been rooting for her more as a person and as an artist rather than as like the winner of the season. And I'm not going to lie, that performance, I was like, I could see her go to the final two. I wonder what Anya and Sam are going to bring, because that was really good.
I would echo all of that. I think the only misstep, and this isn't even her fault, this is an audio mixing issue. Like I felt that the vocals were a little bit muted compared to the rest of the music. So it was a little bit tough sometimes to hear what was happening. Maybe that's just me and my old ears.
No, I agree. And I actually think some of it was audio mixing for sure, because I agree that the vocals were low. And I was like, that's shady producers. Anyway, but I also do think some of it was diction and enunciation.
Okay, yeah. That might have been the case as well. Yeah. And of course, her drag moms are here to support her. We get the advice, which by the way, I loved Rue like saying we have permission from Lexi to show these pictures, get in front of the internet.
And then they said, what would you say to this child? Not, dead naming. And especially for somebody who up until the point, at least of filming Drag Race, had been intentionally just was like, I'm just going to go by my boy name at work and like my dead name at work, and just not even try to, fight for this. I thought that was just really powerful to, to come on Drag Race and be like, no, I'm going to shed that completely here. And so I thought that was a lovely way to do that.
It was kind of funny though that she had to like stand there then in her roller skates the entire time. Like, okay, good.
Beveling from side to side and just which one is going to be on the break. Yeah.
Yeah. Before she rolls away. But no, I thought this was very fun from Lexi. Anya Nerve is next. So Anya, it do take nerve, which of course, like I mean, come on, like it's gonna be something like that, Beth. And I mean, yeah, even like I was reminded in her package, it was like, oh yeah, she had a really, really impressive track record. Like I felt a little bit like Anya's win, and this is a little bit outside of her performance, but to me, Anya's win felt a little bit like Alaska's and All Stars 2, where it kind of felt like obvious from the beginning. And then there was maybe a little bit of faltering towards the end with her being in the bottom 2 for the makeover challenge, for example, without the, having to PayPal $10,000. But it's, it was a good reminder of like, oh yeah, like Anya was so charismatic. I feel like this performance just oozed charisma.
Yeah.
I definitely agree.
Yeah, it was. I think at this point, it was like something has to happen in the finale in order to upset her chances of winning. And I think a lot of people seem to think that happened in the final lip sync. Can you guys hear that? No. Okay. There's like some kind of construction happening outside. I just want to make sure.
Oh, you're okay. You're all good.
It's like really loud. So yeah, I really walked into it just thinking, yeah, she's gonna win this. Maybe there was a chance for Sam, just maybe, because she had the second most amount of wins, and She had this storyline of needing to come out of her shell, and it seemed, at least to the judges, it seemed as if she had done that. And with Susie Toot being out of the running, it was like, okay, well, they seem to really be pulling for Sam here. So I thought maybe there was a chance that Sam maybe could have taken it. But Anya just felt like she was the steady choice the entire way through. I do think that in terms of like editing, sometimes and I don't necessarily know if this is like anything that Anya is at fault for, but in order to like decrease the predictability sometimes of outcomes on Drag Race, I do think that maybe there needs to be a bit more of a uphill battle that is shown a bit, because we really didn't get to see too much of a chink in the armor. So it can really, you can have that Sasha Colby effect a little bit, where you're just sort of sitting here waiting for the end to happen. But if the girl is just good at all the challenges and all of her sisters are not as good, then what's she supposed to do? So
I think it's very possible that if Alaska hadn't been in the bottom two at the end of All Stars 2, she would not have won. And a lot of it's because they wanted to see a chink in the armor and then have her come back and be strong and the whole 9 yards, which she did. And I think that Anya, I mean, she never had she did lip sync once, right? Yeah.
Yeah, for the makeover challenge.
That's right. The makeover challenge. And like, that was just because it's like, we're final 5 and we have like nobody else to really choose from here. Everybody did pretty well, but like, she definitely deserved to lip sync in that episode comparatively. And I mean, she is so special in a way that I really haven't said this. I don't think about many Drag Race stars. I would love for her to, and I've said this many times, I'm so sorry, I'm a broken record. I want her on SNL. I want her in a mainstream capacity to do what she is so good at, which is entertaining and being ridiculous and over the top. She could do sketch comedy like no problem. She could do improv. She can host. She can do all those things. And how special would it be for someone like her to be on SNL, both in and out of drag? Like, I just think that would be so important for integrating drag and queer culture at a time where we really need to. And I feel like I don't think of another person. Like, I love Ginger Minj. She would not be a person I would choose for something like that, right? I really don't think I've thought of anybody who could do it like Anya. And I just think that she's just such a fantastic winner. Her song was incredible. Her performance was fun. I loved looking into the audience and seeing her father crying. Like, I love when you can get a masculine man to feel his emotions on national television. Like, that is important. We need to tell men you are allowed
Make
to
these
express
men
your emotions.
cry, bitch.
Yes. That's all we want, right? Feel your emotions and all of them and process and such and be proud of them because they show the love and the care that you have in the world. So it was that was really powerful to me. I was tearing up watching him tear up.
I think the other thing too, for me, it wasn't even her performance, like the song performance. It was when talking with Ru afterwards, talking about you like to take your sweet time on the runway. That was the moment I was like, yep, this is the charisma that we've seen from Anya all season. Ru just vibes. Like, that's the other thing that I always look for whenever I'm looking for a winner of a season of Drag Race. Who does Ru just connect with? And Anya had that pretty much from the get-go, which is why I really felt like she could be the winner of this season. And when that moment happened, it reaffirmed my feeling that Anya was going to win, because she's just the way she just it's so slow and it should be so boring, but she's so entertaining throughout that entire process. I just can't take my eyes off of her. And she also, with the Why You Should Win, she got like the most emotional music in the background. So that also, I was just like,
the edgic logic. We're like, oh yes, there we go.
Exactly, the edgic of it all. But anyway, okay. Let's finish things out by talking about Sam Starr. So Sam gets, I don't know, in my opinion, Beth, maybe the most stereotypical one that I expected. It was like, oh, she comes out country and that's going to talk about how she's a star. Wow.
I thought groundbreaking. I mean,
yeah, most iconic. No, the friend I was watching with, she was like, okay, I bet Sam's is going to be this. And it was exactly what Sam's was. Which I'm like, did they just not want Sam in the final two? But Beth, I know you were high on Sam's performance, so clearly she did something.
I think it's pretty obvious Sam knew going into this that I think that Sam's a smart enough competitor, being a pageant queen and having such powerful people like Trinity in this franchise at her disposal to talk with. I think that they're pretty good about reading about what's happening with the producers and the editing and such. If you're given a song that is like, hey, all season long, we want you to show us a little bit more of you and not a pre-packaged version or what you think people want to see. We want to see you. By the way, here's your song. It's what you think people want to see from you. Here you go. Like, it's like exactly the opposite of what the judges have been asking her to do. So what I appreciated about it with her was that I think that she just said, well, if I just came out and I just performed it, it'd be nothing. She was so smart with those reveals. Those reveals, I assumed there was one, and then it was done, and I went, there might be something small. There were like 3 more, and none of them were things I could see coming. And I wasn't like blown away shocked, because I figure everybody's gonna have some kind of gimmick or something. So I wasn't shocked that she had reveals, but I was genuinely blown away by the transitions of them. She clearly practiced them very, very well with the pit crew as well, because so many of them were them tearing things off of her. She still continued to serve her face and the lyrics and have that joy. And I think what was mostly missing from her, which is a good thing, was I didn't get cocky. I got confidence from her. And that was the biggest thing that she'd been called out on a couple weeks ago in the finals. And I just think she did what she could with a song like that. And I really think that she did a great job showing it. And I got to give her all this credit too, that when it was announced that she and Lexi would not be moving forward, I know that it's a very pageant-y thing to be like, yay. But when they cut to her during and after the abracadabra lip sync, she genuinely is sitting in the crowd and is excited for her sisters. And I think that is not necessarily the Sam I expected if she didn't make it to the Final Four. And I'm happy that she proved me wrong, that this is somebody who says like, no, I'm growing and I'm realizing that, yeah, I got a lot of effing talent. But I don't need to be cocky about it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed her performance. I think I probably liked hers maybe visually the most out of all of them. Just the train into the red carpet was so fun. I wasn't expecting the second reveal into the gold. All of the flipping and the lifting her up and everything was very, very fun. And of course, not all queens are going to be able to do that, because not all queens are like the size of a damn fun-size Snicker. But, playing your strength.
In this season, at least Jules is.
I guess this was a pretty small, skinny finale. These were skinty. These are just skinny queens. Skinty queens. But skinty. Yeah, I thought she just did a really good job. There was a little stumbling that they kept in the edit. So I was like, that was like my first hint where I was like, oh, okay, because everyone else didn't really seem to have a stumble, and I felt like if they wanted to, they could. Because I'm assuming they probably filmed a couple of these multiple times. I'm assuming. I might be wrong about that. Who knows? Maybe it was just one take, and if that was her one take, when it's like, well, girl, you stumbled a little bit, and the other ones didn't. So I was like, oh, maybe she won't make it. But aside from the nitpicking, I thought that it was a great encapsulation of how far she's come in this season. And I do agree that I feel like she's coming to her own, and I feel like I understand her a little bit more as a drag artist and a drag queen. And I mean, if there's anyone coming back besides Susie for All Stars, it'll be Sam Starr. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I echo that red carpet reveal, Aman. It was just, oh my God, it was so cool. I loved it. I was obsessed. And I actually missed when she went to the goal. I had to like go back and rewatch. When I was watching live, I totally missed it. I was like, oh my God, how does she's wearing gold? Where did this come from? So that was obviously very exciting. And I feel like she, especially maybe her and Jules, well, and Lexi, they all really worked with the pit crew really well in terms of executing the choreo. But the engagement with the audience too, I think Sam did a really, really good job with. And again, she's young. She's going to have such a successful career. Like she's going to be amazing.
For sure.
I'm not worried.
I also love that she's saying, like, one of her lyrics in the very beginning was something about like, And no, I haven't done porn yet. And like,
Yeah,
meanwhile, her mom and her sister are like front row, like, yes! And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. And her vocals were really good too. I thought it was just really fun. And then again, you get the talking to the 3-year-old self and all of the family stuff, and that was all very like heartwarming. And
that felt like a
liked-
pageant to me though.
it did feel a little pageant to me.
It did. I did like the sister though. I was like, well, he always wanted to be me, so
yes. Oh my god.
I was like, I think we need to change the name to Sassy Star to your sister and come up with like,
Yep.
Like you want to be me so bad.
Sparkle Star.
Yeah, no, that was great. Okay, let's just jump ahead and talk about the lip sync, and then we can touch on a few of the other things that happened. So for the final 2, which by the way, it's so funny to have all of the queens walk out in their reveal looks, and then knowing that only 2 of them are going to actually be able to show the reveal looks. But Lexi said, no, not so fast. Which I was so upset, especially given, in my personal opinion, a bit of a lackluster final lip sync. I wanted to see Lexi's with her wing things. That was so freaking cool.
I want to see what Sam was doing because she was holding her dress the entire time. And then when we see her on stage later, it's a glitter nude bodysuit. So clearly that was going to be, I was like, okay, you did so well with not preparing us for reveals in your to just come out and have to hold it and be like, ah.
Yeah. I feel bad. Because
same.
I mean, at the very least, if you're gonna do this, these queens, then I feel like what you need to do is put all of the what would you tell your younger self shit back at the penultimate episode, right? Put all that where that used to be. Give us a little bit more time in the finale, and then just give us a 4th and 3rd placement.
Yes.
Let them lip sync. Let them, because they already know they're not going to win. You can say, I'm sorry, this is not your time, but you still get a chance to lip sync for your legacy, right? Lip sync for the 3rd place or whatever you want to call it. And that way they can still get their reveals done. They can still, give their oaths, and just
$10,000, $15,000.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go. And that way they're not, having to do the whole thing. She literally just
but the best part about that is I'm not at all saying that she wouldn't be able to do it in an entertaining way because she's clearly an incredible performer. But the reason why that was so iconic was because I don't think she was thinking like, oh, I'm doing my reveals. I think she was genuinely just like, I got to make sure my face is visible to thank RuPaul. And it was just so like, thanks. Thank you for the $10,000 of the opportunity. It was so...
That'd been so funny.
Yeah, but the wings. You didn't have
wings.
To activate.
Yeah, that was on purpose. I think she's somebody who realizes, unlike Alyssa, like I feel like Alyssa Edwards doesn't realize half the time that she's being funny, and then she's like, "Oh, I'm being funny. I'm going to keep going." Right? Lexi is very similar with that, but I think she catches on very quickly what made something funny. So I think that she was just like, "Well, I already revealed, so might as well." But like, I think that was iconic. I did rewind that 5 times.
Yeah, I think I also saw a bunch of memes about what Sam's holding. Sam's got a knife behind her back or a gun or something like that. But anyway, so yes, Anya and Jewel Sparkles are the 2 that end up in the final lip sync, but Lexi and Sam both get 10K, so that's good. Although it is funny because Susie winning the lip sync Lollapalooza ultimately gets more money, and I know we've talked about this before, but that's just so funny to me. And then Jules, as the runner-up, will end up getting $25,000. But let's talk about that final lip sync. Aman, what were your feelings on the Abracadabra Lady Gaga lip sync?
So I thought that it was. I thought that it was okay. I think that Jules definitely beat Anya in this lip sync, and I don't know why anybody that's a supporter of Anya would try to disagree with that. It just is, and it's not because of the reveals. Although I will say that that's a part of it, and I think that if there is any artist to lip sync to do reveals to, it is the queen of reveal, Lady Gaga. Okay,
Yeah.
she is the queen of the costume change. That's just her shtick. So it's not out of place. It's not too much. I think that there were the perfect amount of reveals coming from Jules. They all made sense within the context of the song itself. They were timed well. The characterization was good. She's even already harkening back to the Mistress Mayhem vibe that Lady Gaga is going for in this era. So for anyone that is trying to say, oh, well, reveals don't win the lip sync, sometimes they do. And I think in this case, it did. Now, does it mean that Jules should have won the season? Now, that's where you can get into a debate. I would say no. Although I'm still of the opinion that she should have 3 wins under her belt. And then maybe maybe we could have had more of a balanced conversation there. But as it stands right now, no, Anya still deserved to win. And yes, you know, there is then the conversation about how the finale can just become a formality at that point, and it's just ceremonial. And I think that that is a shame. I do think that there should be some level of intrigue. I think that ever since we got Sasha Velour, everyone is waiting for that next big upset. And I don't think that that was something that even Sasha Velour could have predicted to happen. There were a multitude of factors that made the season 9 finale the finale that it was. And I don't think that we should be chasing specifically a Sasha Velour moment. I'm just saying that I think that there should be more of a chance of an upset happening in case there is a bit of a blowout in the case of like this, and in the case of like Monet Exchange versus Jinx Monsoon. Because if not, if things seem a little disjointed. It looks a little weird when someone obviously wins but doesn't win. So there we go.
I do think that, and I can't remember, I know that RuPaul has said, based on your lip sync and your performance throughout the competition, I've made my decision. I think that's what he said at least last year and the year before. I don't know if he said that this year, though.
I don't remember from this year, but I also remember that explicitly with the Jinx Monsoon lip sync as well.
Because they knew.
Emphasize that.
Well, because let's think of another All-Star season where somebody definitely lost the lip sync and won, which is Trixie. You know, like, I'm sorry, Kennedy wiped the floor with her in that lip sync. And yes, it's cool that she ripped a wig up and pulled it out, I guess, but I don't know, that's a whole other thing. But the point being is, like, I think that that little caveat's important, but I just am not a fan of more than 3 people going to a finale. I wish we could cut it down again so it's first, second, third. Have the top 3 again. We did this lip sync thing, and now we're not even lip sync against each other, and we have a Lollapalooza the episode before. So if you're going to get rid of that and you want to keep the lip syncing of like the original songs, why are we doing 4? Why are we doing a top 4? This was a tough year to cut at 6 down to 5, and then from 5 to 4. Imagine how much more entertaining it would have been for us if the penultimate episode they had cut 2 people in that, right?
Yeah. Go down
Like
to final 3.
And I just think, like, okay, so who's the person who probably goes home there? Well, it's probably the other person who's in the bottom from the judge's point of view. So imagine this finale without Sam Starr. And how much more interesting that is, because and how less interesting it would be because she did provide some like really interesting performance. So I don't know. I just feel like we're this format for me is stale. And I think RuPaul needs to either go, we're going back to basics. Here we go, final 3. And that's what we're going to do. But incorporate this kind of new lip syncing portion. I don't know. But it's too bad.
Yeah.
I think also, again, being on the main stage really just imagine this in a theater, right? I think that there's a universe where this can still have a lot of energy and pizzazz. It just felt so, what in the budget cuts is this kind of energy being just on the main stage. So I don't know. For me, I think I'm okay with a final 4. I would like a final 4 implementation of a 3, like the 3rd place lip sync. I think that would be very fun. And then this, and do it in a theater like that. I still would be very happy with for a finale. But yeah, I don't know. I think that to go back to some of Aman's points about Jules. I enjoyed the reveals. Sometimes though, there were some moments where like, okay, is this part of the choreography or are you struggling to take it off?
I
You're doing such a good job. I can't tell. So
I agree. And my problem was that, but also I have to slightly disagree with Aman and say I don't think the timing of every reveal was good. I think that there were times where it felt like especially in the beginning, it felt like she was doing a lot very quickly. And I was like, you better be keeping up this exact same pace throughout the entirety of it with reveals, kind of similar to how Sam just did all these reveals. Because if you blow your load too soon, like, my God, what are we doing? You know? So I got nervous. And it also, I think it's because I was just so entranced with what Sam just did for reveals. I don't think Jules kept composure with her face throughout all of the reveals. There was
definitely a moment where her hair obscured her lips, and I was like, "Woo!" But then again, that was also at the part where it was abracadabra, so it's like, I don't think I need it. I think she knows the abracadabra part. I'm gonna hope that she does, because if you don't know that part, then girl, what's going on?
But I felt like it was more like she'd be like, all right, and now I do a reveal. Okay, now that the reveal is mostly done, now my face is bugged. But you could tell when she was about to do a reveal because you could see her go, activate it. Okay, now reveal's done. Like, I just felt like she was coming in and out of it with her face a little bit. In the way that I didn't feel like Sam did that at all. And that was the only thing that I noticed. Whereas I felt like the points to Anya is that Anya in no way flopped this lip sync. Okay. She would have had to flop hard for her to not win the crown, or to have Jules just be so like on another planet of quality or whatever for Anya to not win. Right. And I felt like, with Anya, what she did do that Jules didn't do was hold on to that really like gritty Gaga energy, and like even the shoulder bobbing that I'm kind of doing right now. I mean, like, she had, the claws, the energy that Lady Gaga gives when she performs. And so I was like, yeah, give us that bite, give us that excitement. That was great. And Jules brought a more fluid nature to it, which I'm not saying was bad. I thought I was great, but I want to give Anya the credit when people are saying that Jules wiped the floor with her. I agree. But I also have to say, I think Anya did a really great job. And if that was on stage in front of me, I would be throwing my dollar bills at her.
Yeah, I don't think that she got demolished. No, I wouldn't go that far. I do think that for me, I mean, I'm always going to be hypercritical when it comes to Gaga and Beyonce, because those are my mothers. Okay. So for me, I can tell that she was attempting to do some of the choreography that is in the video, like this move in particular. And she does it a few too many times, and I'm like, that's not where that goes. That's not where that goes. You've done that.
No, that's like trying to do Thriller and just only doing that one part of the Thriller dance over and over. And you're like, that only happens like once.
I'm like, all right, honey. But it's like, okay, it's fine, because it's like, it's Anya, right? So I'm like, I'm not about to sit here and crucify Anya for not. And the song also has not been out that long, like, so it's, if this were Bad Romance or Applause or GUI or Paparazzi, listen, there would have been some curse words would have been thrown, but we're good. I'll give it to her.
I do want to say, and I don't know if this was actually public knowledge and I just missed it, but I literally all week was like, if they just filmed this a couple weeks ago, right?
Yes.
They had to have made Abracadabra the final, like all week. I was like, they're going to do Abracadabra as the final lip sync song. It has to be that. And then when it was that, I literally screamed so loud, like, I was right. I knew it would be.
I thought you knew.
No.
I thought you knew. When you sent us that TikTok, I thought you knew.
Well, that's what I was going to bring up. I didn't know, but I just figured it's got to be that. But I was laughing so hard. So I got to share this. There is a queen whose name is Poussey Poppins. Love that. So, who did an incredible, and I sent this to Liana and Aman on Instagram. earlier in the week, I saw that she did a performance of Abracadabra where her reveals were her being the Pokemon Abra and then evolving into Kadabra and then eventually coming out as Alakazam. And it was so funny that I literally was like, now if they don't do this, I'm going to be disappointed. And I'm not going to lie, there was a part of me that was like, I think the reveal of the Pokemon Abracadabra was really funny. Like that was a great little thing. But no, it was pretty amazing. So I genuinely didn't know it was gonna be Abracadabra, and I just was like, no, it's got to be that song. So
the one last thing I'll say about the lip sync is the one thing I think that hampered Jules just a little bit was the color of her look, because we've seen black, anything kind of black purple gets eaten up by this main stage. Another reason why, if this were on a different stage, we could actually see the colors, that would be fantastic. And Anya just in the Lady in Red, right? That just like bright, like she just pops.
Yeah.
So I think that was the other thing too, is even though I think Jules maybe was more interesting for me to watch because of the colors, I kept getting drawn and pulled back to Anya because it was just this bright pop of color I couldn't look away from. So
agreed. I do want to say something to your theater point, because I wholeheartedly agree. I think that we're forgetting too that like when you have a small group of people around you, and even if they're loud and cheering, like you're feeding off that energy. And I felt like Jules and Anya were feeding off energy fine, right? But you're also on a sound stage. So where is that energy going? Up and out. Versus in a theater, you are surrounded by the energy and it swims around you both on and off stage. And I think that literally that live performance aspect on a stage in a theater with an audience would have given them just a little bit more oomph of energy for us to feed off of for a final performance.
Yeah.
Now, yes, Aman.
Is Nymphia Wynn's step down look beating Violet Chachi's step down look? Because I've been seeing a lot of people having this conversation online, and I wonder what you two think.
Yeah, that's a good. Let me pull it up. So we also got a funny little Jane Goodall or Jane Not Good at All cameo thing, which was pretty funny. She got to Zoom with Jane Goodall, who
read her to filth. It was great.
I'd be so embarrassed if I was
the flyaway hairs. Oh my god.
She's like, what's that hair over here? It's like, this woman has lived with chimps and she's or gorillas, I mean, and she's literally clocking your wig. That's amazing.
Oh, so funny. Okay, let me let me pull up Nymphia's look. I have it here. So here it is. Sorry, it's on Instagram. It's not zoomed in. Look, it's absolutely gorgeous and stunning. I think it's so tough though, because Violet's is like emblazoned in my brain. If this had come first, then like if I had seen this first before Violet's, I think there's a universe where I'm like, this is the best step down look. But because it's reversed, I don't know. And this is maybe the back in the good old days, kind of like holding on to it, but you cannot deny the absolute beauty that is this look.
What about Sasha Colby versus this look?
Yeah, that's
I think what I love the most about Sasha's, Nymphia, and Violet is that the three of them understand who they are and what they're doing, and all of their step down looks represented them to the best of their ability, right? I just genuinely I'm like, oh god.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah, that one's crazy too.
I just I'm sorry. I can't. I'm so speechless every time I look at Sasha Colby in that look. I think genuinely Nymphia's is probably number 3 for me. Violet will always be number 1 and Sasha number 2. That waist on Violet is just absolutely stupid. Like in a way I can't comprehend it. You know what I mean? Like it is unreal. And these other queens come out and they just showcase their artistry and like how they know their dimensions and like what they're trying to do and showcase who they are, and it's just absolutely stunning, both of them. Nymphia's, I was genuinely like, oh god, look at that stupid waist, look at that.
I think Nymphia's, there was something weird about the bus line that moved weird. That was the only thing that I remember for Nymphia's being like, oh, this is a little weird.
I wanted for Nymphia, because I've been seeing a few people being like, oh my God, Sasha or Violet Chachki found dead in a ditch. I was like, oh, I don't know. I would say maybe Violet Chachki found unconscious in a very, very shallow ditch. I don't know.
Oh, I would say Violet Chachki caught swallowing water down the wrong pipe for a second and now she's fine. Like that's what I would say. I love Nymphia and I love this look. It is absolutely stunning and brilliant. I think Violet could sleep fine at night. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think I wanted, as far as Nymphia's is concerned, I think it's absolutely stunning. Like the detail in the cloud artistry, and what is that, a leopard or a cheetah behind her or something like that? Just just
tiger.
So well done. I wish there was a bit more color on the dress. I wish there was a bit more of that gold on the dress, because sometimes it does feel a little washed out. But the fact that she had made it, when she said that she made it yesterday, I believed her. I believe you, because we know that you are able to just put shit together. I will say that I feel like her promo look introducing the queens of season 17 is I think I probably like that a bit more than this one, where she's sort of like the Aquarius water dripping down her body type deal. I thought that was just absolutely stunning, and she also made that and stoned that with her friends. Like she's just in terms of like craftsmanship, I don't think there's really anyone that's beating Nymphia these days. I think that she just is just talented in that way. But I agree. I feel like Violet, it's hard to top Violet's. I think people come very, very close. I think these probably are the two closest. I think there's something about the permanence of the crown on Violet's look, where she's like, "This, I was born this way. This is literally growing out of my head. Nothing is going to top this." I feel like that's just such a nice and subtle, shady, beautiful way to be like, y'all are never going to beat me. Sorry. And
I can't take it off my head to pass it to you. My apologies.
Yeah. Like this step down, like I might be stepping this way, but I'm not stepping down. So
Yeah, I think Violet's also the added detail of kind of the like witchy evilness to the glamour as well. Gives it an added dimension that I just think is so cool.
There's
but
like
you can't,
webbing, veiny detail on her skin too.
It's so good.
And the cockroaches that Alaska then references in the reunion.
But they all look so beautiful. You can't. I mean, come on, you can't deny how stunning all that is. The other winner of the evening that we'll need to talk about is our Miss Congeniality. So, I don't know. This is a bit of a shock to me, which, by the way, very happy to see Saphira and Tsunami Muse back. But Crystal Envy wins Miss Congeniality. I don't know who I expected to win. Maybe
I thought Lydia.
Oh, Lydia? Yeah. I didn't peg Crystal. So, I mean, the girls vote. Not up to us. So there must have been something behind the scenes we didn't see.
But when we do think about that episode where she was her own, when she was just the tumbleweed in the back, like she really did help everybody out there. And so I do think that they took the idea of congeniality pretty seriously with that. But there was also a part of me that's like, Crystal's also a pageant girl. And I wonder, just like in the Designing Women speech, if this is kind of like, well, let's give the pageant girl congeniality as like a kind of thing. I don't think that that's what they did at all, but that thought crossed my mind. I loved Crystal's look, by the way. That look was incredible. I just looked at it and I was like, ooh, it's like so classy and slutty at the same time. I love it.
And she posted pictures too of like what she had envisioned for like the whole rest of the train bit that she didn't get to wear. So there was more to that look. If you felt like, oh, this is like missing something, it was. So you can check out her Instagram for that. But yeah, so okay, Crystal Envy wins.
Yeah. It's getting harder and harder to predict that now, because since the queens are now voting and because Valentina ruined it all for the rest of
You know what? I think when queens are eliminated, they should have to tell production, like in a confessional, who they are voting for, like while they're like before they leave, and then they show it as a montage, and that's how they tell the people in the finale.
Oh my God, that'd be great.
And be like, you all voted as you left.
Mhm.
And when you left, this is who you said should be congeniality. And I think it would be really fascinating because the girls who were there earlier in the season might not have the same idea as somebody who's been there for much longer in the season. And so you might get some people who were just kind of all over the place in the beginning, and then you might see a pattern as it goes on. I don't know. I just think that'd be fun.
I'm here for it.
Do it while they're emotional and upset.
That's what I'm saying. Before they get out of drag. Like before they write their make them do their mirror message, walk out the door, and then as they're walking out the door, they said, "You have to vote for Miss Congeniality right now. Who are you voting for?"
Yeah,
right. I think that'd be so great. One thing I do want to note about this, I don't know if they've done this in the past, but I thought a nice touch for this finale was that they kept they chose a celebrity for each of the 4 people who like while they were judging. And while they were there to be like, I'm rooting for this person. But it made me realize, like, I was like, did they just record so many of those? And then just were like, which one feels like it is someone saying that's the one person?
I don't know. It felt genuine to me. It felt like they probably asked them, before they all left for the day, like which
poor
queen are you rooting
Sandstar had to have Alyssa instead of like, no offense, I love Alyssa, but like, come on, get a celebrity. They got Quinta Bronson, so she got.
I'm like, did like no one say Sam? Right then I'm like, oh my God, did they make Alyssa do that? I don't know.
Mean, it looks like the way that we felt about Sam. It like, look, we weren't just saying it just to be saying it. Like, hey,
I don't know. I hear what you're saying, Beth, but for me, it was really funny. And maybe it was a combination of the fact that Katy Perry was the first one, right? So not only did I have to be reminded that Katy Perry was the first guest judge during the complete flop that was Woman's World, and then to have her go on that Blue Origin space flight, everybody's reaming the hell out of them for that, where it's like, are you kidding me? We can't afford eggs and y'all are going to space. And the whole, I don't know if you guys saw the interview where she's like, I've been reading books about string theory. Like there was just so much, so funny Katy Perry stuff happening the past week. And then for her to pop up, I was like, oh my God, no, please don't.
Yeah.
Do you think Joella was happy to hear that she dropped her, like, but Joella is always a kitty cat or whatever. Like, I just was like, I would.
She was going to take her on tour.
She's like, I'll take her on tour. And I'm just sitting back and I'm like,
paycheck's a paycheck.
Yeah.
I'll go on tour.
It's a woman's world. I'll be like, look, I'll be
Are you living in it?
Yeah, I'll be living.
I will listen to the song every day if I get paid.
Anyway, yeah. So that was just, and then so it was the combination of Katy Perry coming out first, and then Alyssa Edwards for Sam that just really made me be like, oh no, whatever. Anyway.
She'll be back. She'll be all right.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. She'll be fine. She'll come back on All Stars. All right. So last thing I just wanted to touch on was the Liza Minnelli tribute, which I did not expect her to be there. So because I know that she's been dealing with like health issues and stuff. So I was very surprised to see her there. I mean, obviously, maybe this is me reflecting on my own mortality more than this has anything to do with Liza Minnelli, but I'm just like, oh my God, she's so old. Oh my God, I'm so old. Yeah. I was just like, I want the tribute, but I don't want to feel like this.
I know.
But again, I think that's my own feeling. That has nothing to do with her or the show or anything like that. So
no, it was so lovely to see her, and I'm glad that Susie had the moment with her as well. She tweeted about it later on, talking about how like at first she wasn't sure what to say, but she did get a lovely moment with her, and Liza called her beautiful and everything, and you could just see just how much it meant for her to be able to watch Liza on that stage. And even without Liza singing, because they were playing the music over, but Liza was still in that chair. That energy was still coming off of her that we all know from Liza. So even if she's not up to the physical task of those performances anymore, you can still see that it's still there. Like that, what makes her her is still very much there. So
I love that she did a little Fosse from the chair. Like that was so adorable. I love that she is just even with her health struggles and her age and such at this point, like she's still very visible. And as somebody who probably is a big reason for a lot of people that there was some bridges made for the LGBTQIA plus community, having her come on a show like Drag Race at her age and receive this kind of honor was fantastic. I literally thought when she came out, when they had the chair, I was like, oh my God, they got this adorable person. No, that's her. Oh my God. Like,
yeah,
freaked out.
That's cool. And it's nice to also give flowers while the icons are still with us, right? So that they can experience the love and like realize the impact that they've had on people's lives. So I think that's really beautiful.
Never forget, she was supposed to be in that famous Oscars celebrity selfie, but she was too short and she was getting blocked by like Brad Pitt or somebody.
It's in the back. So always look at the selfie from behind.
Yes.
She's in the back trying to peek up. It's so good.
That's so cute. Okay, is there anything else that either of you would like to talk about when it comes to this finale or this season as a whole?
I think this was a great season. I think overall, I would put it middle of the pack of seasons that we've had. I think that we have a good winner. I do think that Drag Race is at least being consistent, and I feel like 15, 16, 17 have all been really good seasons after what I felt was kind of a dip for a little bit. And so I genuinely am so happy with our winner, and even though it was a little predictable, but I can't wait to see what all these queens do.
They're all going to go on and be successful. I mean, come on. Jules is like the number she did for the finale. That's going to go to Vegas. She can do that in Vegas. It's done.
Yeah.
Lock it up.
I mean, I think they're already going on tour. Her and Anya already announced the tour together. Yeah.
Not surprised. All right. Well, that does it for us. So, plugs. Anybody have any plugs they want to give? Aman?
You can follow me everywhere at Aman Adwin. You can check me out on the Diary Room podcast with Matt Lagori, where we have been going through all of these Big Brother players. We have taken a small little break, but we're getting right back into it this upcoming week. So check us out over there.
Perfect. Beth?
You can follow me on Instagram at AugustaWind11 and on Blue Sky at Beth-Dixon. And I'm also going to be joining Taryn this week to talk about Big Brother 17. And I'm sad because Liana was supposed to join us, but she's moving. So
yes. Oh my God. I was so excited to talk about season 17 of Big Brother. It's like one of my favorite seasons. I can't even lie.
Give me notes. And I'll say, oh yes, Liana also says this.
Give you all my thoughts. Yes. I think I told Beth, I was like, the one thing you absolutely have to mention is whenever they would say when Becky would show up on screen, they would play the sound effect of the train.
The train.
Yes. That's so fucking shady from the editors. I love it. It's amazing. And then Jace going, what part of Rado?
I don't think anyone's ever called it a Rado before.
Yeah, as somebody who grew up in Colorado, no one calls it Rado. All right. So other than that, you can find me. I did record the latest episode of the B&B. So Mike Bloom was actually out this week. Puya filled in along with our torture companion, Dwight Moore. So we got to all annoy each other in the best way possible. And I'm actually going to be out of the B&B for next week as well because of, as Beth said, we moving. So next time you'll see me, I'm going to be in a completely different place. And we are going to be talking about a completely different season because All Stars is just around the corner. And Beth and Aman definitely will be there. I will maybe be there. We're going to see how everything goes. But don't worry, there will be coverage, or at least there should be, for All Stars. So I was going to say, yes, Aman.
I forgot one more plug for myself. I am going to be joining Taryn and Grace on the latest episode coverage for The Last of Us season 2. So if you're interested in watching that, make sure that you check that out too. Yep, that's it. All right.
Okay, perfect. I would say, look, leave your star ratings and reviews. Don't bother. Wait for the new season. Take a rest, as we will take a bit of a rest before All Stars. Thank you to the whole RHAP team for all of their help behind the scenes, getting this podcast out into your eyes and ears. And we'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.